What's up, goodies? Welcome back to my channel and to my kitchen, how to cook. And today we're making sticky barbecue ribs in the kitchen. Fast, easy, and simple. Make sure you subscribe, goodie, if you have not, and turn on your post notifications so you won't miss any of the uploads. And for all I'm returning goodie, on a done know so on a girl loving it to the max. On you ready for cook? Come on, let's cook. Okay, goodies, make we cook. Now we have our rib meat here. You could use pork ribs if you'd like. You could use beef ribs if you'd like. Your pork or beef is your choice in your kitchen. Now be sure though that you remove the membrane underneath the bottom portion of the ribs. It will allow your meat to cook way faster if you take it off, okay? Now, the next thing you want to do here is go ahead and cut your meat. Just like I'm showing you guys here, right? Be sure that you cut it. Now, if you don't want to cut it up like I'm doing here, it's fine. You could always go through the process using the same seasonings that I'm going to show you. But I prefer that you do it this way because we are making sticky barbecue ribs, okay? Now, after you've cut it up just like this, my desired pieces, we're going to go in and we're going to give this meat a really thorough cleaning, okay? I'm not going to say wash the meat, I'm going to say clean the meat. Clean it thoroughly, you guys. Now, this is how I clean up mine. Now, what I do is use cold water only. Do not use warm water for washing meat. Cold water. I added 1 lemon, and to the lemon I added some vinegar. I'm using apple cider vinegar, but you could use white vinegar of your choice, it doesn't matter. And then I always use salt when I'm cleaning my meat, any kind of a meat, poultry, whatever. I always use salt to do it. It starts the cooking process here by giving it flavor on the inside of your meat, okay? All right, so all I'm doing here is giving it a nice little rinse, a nice little beat up and beat down. Now, for some of you guys, you know, you have a problem with not cleaning your meat, you guys, but you have to clean your meat because you have no idea what that piece of meat been through before it get to your plate. So be sure that you guys are cleaning up your meat. If some of you guys might say, you know, you clean up the best part of the meat, what is the best part? Because honey, when you rinse that water off, the water is actually white looking and it has a lot of mucky yucky kind of a business going on. You don't want that in your stomach, okay? Another thing that I do sometimes when I'm doing pork ribs like this, I always had a little bit of white rum to it, but I don't have any white rum today to clean up my pork. But if you have it, go ahead and add some to the water as well to give it an excess amount of cleaning, okay? Period. But whatever you do, just be sure that you clean, wash, beat up, scrub down, beat down your meat, and to the way that you like it, to the way that it suits your kitchen, okay? You guys, just be sure that you guys are doing that, please. All right, wash your meat nice and clean until you guys the water is nice and clear. If the water is not nice and clear, your meat not ready to put season pan yet. Be sure that it looks exactly like this: nice, clear, clean running water, and your meat looks perfect, and there's no BLOOD coming from that meat, okay? That's on period. Just be sure you clean the meat properly. All right, so after we have done clean the daylight saving time out of that meat, What you want to do is get a nice clean paper towel and get all the excess amount of water that may be still sitting in your container, because you want to be sure that once you start seasoning your meat, it is not runny and the seasons cling to the meat the way it's supposed to. So get rid of all the excess of water. Now the first thing that I'm doing here is adding some oil, any kind of oil. Then I'm adding a little bit of salt, and then I'm going in with the salt and pepper. Okay, salt and pepper for sure. First thing when you season meat, I love to do that first. Now next I'm adding onion and garlic powder to the mix. And again, y'all, whenever I'm cooking meats, or even if I'm doing a vegan recipe, I always had more garlic powder than I do onion powder. It is just me, because why? It's my kitchen. All right, now I'm adding some ground ginger here. Of course, you could add grated ginger or ginger paste, but I'm using powdered ginger here. Just a little bit on there to give it a maximum amount of flavor. I'm using my Cumber seasoning. You don't have to worry about that seasoning if you don't have it. Just use all-purpose seasoning, you guys. All right, it will work just fine. Complete season anything. Now the Ocherius does come with the meat season, and since I'm doing meat, I decided to go with this. But again, you could always substitute that out. I'm adding some cayenne pepper here, just a tad bit, and a little bit of dried pepper flakes. All right, to give it that little buzz of kind of a hot type of a thing. Then I'm going in with some Jamaican jerk seasoning here. I'm using the Ocherius one here. It is amazing, filled with nothing but flavorful. And then we're going in with some paprika for extra color, because remember, we're making sticky, okay? So you want it to have color. And I'm adding a lot of my onion flakes here. Just go ahead and put it in. I wouldn't recommend you using fresh onion, but if that is what you have, you guys, just be sure that you really dice it up really small. Chop it up as small as you can if you are going to use fresh onions for this recipe. Now I have my homemade green seasoning here, and I'm going to put the link below. If I didn't put it, just remind me that it's not there, okay? Then I'm adding some garlic here, fresh garlic, and to that we're adding 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm using organic cane sugar, you guys, all right? But substitute out whatever you have, but do not use white sugar. That's a no. That's a hell to the no, okay? Then I'm adding some vinegar here, because I love vinegar. And of course, we're going to add our favorite barbecue sauce of choice. Whatever you have in your kitchen will do. Even if you want to make yours from scratch, go ahead and do that. Make yourself happy, right? And then we are going to rub all these seasonings into the meat. Oh my goodness, okay? Period. Season this bad boy up. Listen, season up your meats, okay? Add your seasons on. We don't need salt and pepper alone on our meats, okay? Season up your meats, your poultry, whatever you're cooking. Put your season on it, because we're talking flavor in this rib, all right? If it doesn't look like this, boo, if it doesn't look like this, go back and do it again, okay? Make sure that you season up these ribs thoroughly, all right? And it's supposed to look amazing like that. Now we're going to let it sit though. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That, when I talk about well seasoned, there's something seasoned until we can't season no more. All right? Talk about flavor. There's something smelling good already, and it's not even cooked yet. We're going to let this go for about an hour.
1 hour later.
All right, so after that hour, I have my oven already turned on. My oven is preheated, you guys. Be sure that you put these babies in a preheated oven. The oven should be at about 375 degrees of heat, okay? Be sure that this thing goes in a hot oven. Now, we are going to let this go in the oven at 375 for about 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we are going to take them out. Just be sure that you're following the steps, y'all. Okay, I'm going to repeat that again. Put this in the oven for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we're going to take them out the oven. And I'll tell you guys what to do after you take them out after that 30 minutes. Be sure that, oh, I'm choking. Be sure that you do not leave out any of these good seasonings. And another thing, be sure that you cover it up with your foil paper. Cover it up and put it in the oven 30 minutes to trap in the flavor and make it steam. We're not baking there, we're steaming, okay? After it is steamed, it's going to release a lot of moisture, juices, goody juices from the rib meat. That juice, we're going to pour it out in a container because this is what we're going to be using to make the sauce. Oh, yes, boo. Now, after you've done that, this is what your meat looks like after you've removed all that good juices that came from it. You're going to go back and we're going to put this back in the oven. Now you want to turn the oven down to 350 degrees, okay? From 375 to 350. Put it in the oven, turn it every 15 minutes, okay? Now while that is going, because it takes about an hour to bake all together, okay? We are going to make the sauce. So now what we're going to do while the ribs are going for the last 15 minutes is put about a half stick of butter, total 4 tablespoons. Then you throw all your sauce into that pan. Then you go in with a little bit of tomato paste, okay? Paste, you guys. Now we're going to go in with our grape jelly. Listen, not who is it? Grape jelly, okay? You put your grape jelly in that, baby. Trust me when I tell you, goody. Follow the steps. Add some more vinegar because it turn up the sauce really, really good. And then we are going in with a little bit of that favorite barbecue sauce of your choice. I'm using honey here. Pour that baby in there as well. And to that, boo, we're going to go in with a little bit of ketchup. Not a whole lot. We're just going to add some to it to balance the barbecue sauce out. And of course, we want to use our chamoy mega original sauce here. Now, if you do not have this, go in and add just a little bit of food coloring, okay? Red, that is. Then we're going to go in with some paprika here to balance everything together. And let me tell you something. This is all that it takes to make the sauce. And when I tell you the sauce is good, now this sauce is so good. I've had this with seafood. All right, I've had this with seafood. Dip my seafood into the sauce, and it was amazing. All I did after that was add a little bit of cilantro to it. If you don't have cilantro, you could add parsley or whatever, okay? Just go ahead and just throw that baby in there, give it a good little mix. And we want to let this come to a bubble. It has to come to a good bubble and kind of a simmer, because I want the sauce to now have a richness and a thickness to it, okay? But be sure that you have your fire here at a very medium heat, because you don't want to over bubble this thing and make it burn and start to stick in the bottom, because it will become bitter. Now after a total of 15 and 15 minutes here on each side, this is done. So that's a total of 30 minutes after you remove the juices from that ribs. This is what I'm talking about, the way your sauce is supposed to be looking. This is why it's called sticky. The sauce is supposed to be nice and gluey and gummy, so that way the sauce is stick to your rib meat, okay? If it not look like that, it is not sticky sauce, you guys. It is running water coconut something sauce, okay? Just be sure that you guys are following the steps. Now when I do my ribs like this, I do not turn my heat off. I like to turn it on low heat and let it still bubble while I'm adding the sauce to the meat, okay? So I'm dipping each pieces as I go along. Now when you are done doing this, you want to go back and put it in the oven for 10 more minutes, you guys, so that way the sauce doesn't run off because your meat is still hot. Immediately after you're done, you put it in the oven and let it sit for 15 minutes. You can even shut your oven off, but just let it sit for 15 minutes in there and you are done. When you do that, boo, this is what you have. Amazing, amazing, flavorful barbecue, sticky barbecue ribs in your kitchen every single time, goody. Now, if you guys do not like ribs here, you could add fish, you guys. I've done sticky fish. If you want me to show you how I did my sticky fish, let me know. But I had to show you how I was really feeling this, okay? It was so good. I've made this recipe several times, and every single time. Now, if your veggies are not sticking to your meat like this, when you move it around upside down, let me tell you something, it is not sticky, okay? It has to be sticky. If you want to try this recipe, try it and tag me in it so we can see your vegetables as stick on your meat like this, okay? barbecue, sticky barbecue ribs. Let the flavorful, look how tender that is. That is so filled with flavor goodie. You're going to love this recipe. Just do me one favor. Tell a friend for tell a friend, okay? Bring them come goodie and send them come. I'm waiting. And when I got done doing all of that, tell me what you want to see me cook next in my kitchen. And remember, as always, from my kitchen to your kitchen. Enjoy!